Okay, hello. It's Loretta West, Tangle Tuesday, certified Zentangle teacher and soul collage facilitator and all-around art gal. And today, on January 24th, 2022, we have a fun lesson, and it's an easy lesson. It's only going to involve very few tangle patterns. And it started with me thinking about going to a beach. It's January here in South Central BC, where there's big piles of snow, and it had been very cold, but it's warmed up, thankfully. But this is the time of year where I start to sort of crave some warmth, and it's not happening. So what can we do? Well, we can bring warmth into our work and bring the beach here. So I was looking at different things, and different ideas for today. And one of my sketchbooks, I found this, which is a bookmark that was a Zentangle bookmark made by Tina Bauer of Newton, Massachusetts. Thanks, Tina. And it was part of a bookmark swap I did way back in 2017. So this is the one that she sent me, all laminated and nice. So that gave me a jumping off point for today. And let's see here, I can find the other thing I'm thinking of, the other thing. Then I went on the old World Wide Web and I looked for other beachy ideas. And I came up with, this is really cool. So this is going to be part of our string today. And if you can see that, and it's an MC Escher artwork with the sea stars. So we're going to utilize these two ingredients to make our Zentangle today. So take a minute to get yourself ready. You're going to need a pencil. I've got a Zentangle branded, which is just like an HB pencil. You don't need anything too special. I'm going to turn on some lights here. All of a sudden it got dark. And move my monitor so I can see everything. Okay. And then a Faber-Castell Pitt artist pen in S for small, which they call a 0.3, I think. So it's about that. It's a very fine tip. So you're going to need some sort of fine tip pen. It doesn't matter what kind of fine tip pen it is or what color, it'll all work. And I have a blending stump for the graphite, which is really worn down. I should really get another one out, which I will. But you can use your finger to blend any graphite. That works really well today. And then for color, if we're going to do color, I got some Faber-Castell Pitt pens in lovely and juicy little colors. So any kind of color that you want to bring to the table, you know, watercolors, colored pencils, markers like these are, anything that you want to try out, I encourage you to try it. You don't know, nothing happens in art unless you experiment. That's my motto. If you're not afraid, if you're not willing to take a couple of chances and try things out, then not much happens. Okay, so for paper, I have got a Strathmore Artist Tile Vellum Surface Bristol paper, but if you any sketchbook paper will work, any drawing paper you've got. If all you have is copy paper from your printer or printer paper, that will also work. Those are really funky, just like we were hit by a earthquake on my desk here, trying to keep everything straight. Okay, anyway, enough of that. So we're going to start by, if you're on a Zentangle tile, that's another option you could use today, round or square. You could use that. If you're on a larger piece of paper, you'll want to make a square with a pencil. So that, and it can be whatever size you want, but my suggestion, it would be something like 4 inches square. And you don't have to measure it. You can just eyeball it. And so if you've drawn your square within that square, you're going to put a dot in each corner. So with my pencil, I'm going to put a dot and then one over here, one down here, one down here. So that makes kind of a, and they're away from the edge. And then I can connect the dots how I see fit. I can make them straightish, I can make them zigzaggy, I can make them loopy, whatever I want. I'm going to make mine wavy because we're going to the beach. So I'm going with the waves. I'm thinking about the waves hitting the shore. Somebody coming by with a really nice adult beverage. All cold and frosty. Okay, now the next part we're going to do, we're going to make what you call a string in Zentangle, which is just scaffolding for your drawing. Let's do that. Okay, yeah, should be all right. Okay, so this one is utilizing the MC Escher design of the sea stars. So I'm going to start up here in the corner. If you're left-handed, you're going to start over here in the right corner because you don't want to draw on, you know, where you're going, you'll smear everything. So if you're right-handed like I am, you're going to start in the left corner though, and you're going to start with just a line, and it's a wavy line coming down quite a ways, almost to the middle. And then another one coming off this way. And then just one from the middle coming off that way. So that gives you some sort of skeleton for your sea star. So then I'm going to switch to my pen and I'm going to draw the legs of the sea star. So on the outside with my pen, on the outside of this line, a few little bit ways away, just watch me and you can see, whoops, and my pen decided it's going to go to sleep. So let's try pen number 2. Okay, there we go. Pen number 2 is much more awake. And draw sort of a wavy, just think about sea stars. They're not uniform in their shape and they mold around rocks. So they're kind of cool. They're very cool, actually. When I was drawing this morning, I was reminded of one time we went to visit my uncle in North Vancouver. We used to go there every summer, pretty much, and stay with him for a little while. And he had a boat, and he would take us out to little islands around in Horseshoe Bay, and we would find crabs and things. And my sister, one of my sisters, found a sea star that was a dead one, I guess. And she decided that she would bring it home. It was very stinky. It stunk up her bedroom because mom wouldn't have it anywhere else in the house. Ah, dear. Anyway, funny what you remember when you're drawing. Then I'm going to have another one over here, but you can put them anywhere you want. You don't have to do exactly what I do. And I'm going to have a curvy kind of line coming down there. And one here. So I'm using my pencil again. I should have said that, sorry. And maybe one out here. So they're not straight lines because we want our sea stars to have animation. We want them to look alive. But I do remember that sea star and pulling it out of my sister's closet and showing all the neighbor kids about it. Like I was just absolutely amazed by it. And we had it for a long, long time. Many, many years. Okay, and then I'm going to do another one coming off here. So you might even want to, start from the middle, do a little dot, and then work your way out if you want. Then I'm going to have them intersecting in a colony. I assume that's what they call them. Colony of sea stars. And I'm switching to my pen again, and I'm going to do these lovely legs. And if you're wiggly with your pen, this is the perfect thing to draw, because it doesn't matter if it's straight or uniform, it's wiggly, so let your pen wiggle. I think I'll do one more in the corner, just a little guy over here, a little sea star. So remember to do a couple things. Remember to hold your pen lightly, grip it very lightly if you can, almost like it was going to fall out of your hand. And remember to breathe. And if you have to put your pen down and take a deep breath every now and again, as a reminder, that's okay too. Whatever you need to do will work today. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You might have more, you might have less, you might have larger, you might have smaller. It doesn't matter. This is your space and your time. So just give yourself time to finish that little bit. Now, if you want to, you can do some patterns on the inside of your star. So to start with the circle here and maybe do some little triangles coming off each arm if you want to. That's one option. You could do little circles, you could do dots. You could do them all the same, or you could do them different. Just giving you some ideas. I'll just go some dots here. This one down here. What am I going to do here? There's one called bead lines. That's Zentangle. So I'm going to do that one down here. Start it here so you can do a line and then little dots, and they can be sequential. You could do it, 1 dot and then 2 dots and then 3, or you can just make it random like I am. Put no thought into what you're doing, which is lovely. So every now and again, take a moment to check in. Check in with yourself. How do you feel after a few minutes of this focused work? What we're creating here is focused relaxation. By doing repetitive motions with our hands. Just going to do a little, still don't like the way this is today. Jostle, jostle. Okay, that's a little better. It was sticking in my face. All right. So that's options there. You could do all sorts of things in here, and I won't show you a whole bunch today because we're going to keep moving, but you could go online to zentanglepatterns.com and come up with some patterns to go inside your sea stars. But we're going to work on this negative space. This is the area where there are no sea stars, where we're going to work next. And I'm going to start down here in my lower left corner with a tangle that we've done before, but it's one of the ones that I really, really like. And it's called Fish Face. And I really don't know who developed it because there's on the internet, there was many, many people claiming that they came up with it. So I don't know. But whoever it is, thank you very much because it's fun. So I'm going to start with sort of two C shapes together, which is making sort of a bullet tip like that. And then another one over here. And then coming off that for the next row of fish faces. And another row here. Then I'm going to start to have them sort of turn. So we're going to have them go this way a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to do a little bit of a C shape here where the head meets the body. Then the eyes, fish eyes, and a little smile if you want to. Just why not? A smile goes a long ways. I have a gnome, a stuffed gnome. He's really big. And I really like him because he's just, I don't know, you carry him around if you want to. He's kind of weighted on the bottom. He's very cuddly. And you know, you gotta take as much comfort as you can get these days, I figure. If you go a little potty, it's all right. And anyway, he's got a nice little smile. So sometimes I look over and I see him and I go, oh, I see him smile and I smile. Isn't that wild? But I do. It makes me smile.
You must love the tangles from Angie Gittles.
Yeah, I do. I do. Actually, I do them. I do them in the snow. I make gnome snow with my ski pole.
Did you want to mention about the winter tangle? I saw
Uh,
Facebook place that there were still some openings.
oh, I didn't know that. So I don't even, I know no details. So
Okay.
I
I
can't
can
really, but if
I
you,
can help out with that if it's okay, Loretta. It's
okay,
Jennifer.
sure,
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Yeah, there are still spaces available. It's being recorded and live. And because we had such great response, Angie upped her Zoom so she can take as many people who want to sign up.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so if anybody's interested, you can go to Angie Gittles' page on Facebook, or it's on my page on Facebook, where you could contact any of the teachers, me, Angie, Rami, or Becky Boynton, and we can get you hooked up.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So of those who don't know, 4 times a year, Jennifer and Angie Gittles and other people have a day-long retreat online, Zentangle retreat, so you can draw till your heart's content. What date is that, Jennifer?
It's this Saturday.
Okay.
So the 29th, I think.
29th.
Whatever
Okay.
this Saturday is, and it's me, like it's me, Angie, Michelle Wimmers, and Becky Boynton.
Okay.
4 classes. It's I think it's $35, something
Okay.
like that. And that's for the whole day, because Loretta's being modest. She was a teacher with us for, was it the last
one? Yeah.
Yeah. So we were lucky to have Loretta with us.
Thank you.
I didn't know Jennifer was on this call. Otherwise, I pinged her saying, hey, you gonna mention it?
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. I didn't even think to say anything because, you know, I don't know.
I
didn't think
love
either.
them. I absolutely love them. So
Wonderful.
So on the body of your fish, you can do some lines like that. You could do polka dots. You can make them different or all the same. You know, they could just be fun fish. This is your little world today. Nobody else, just you. Nobody looking over your shoulder saying this is correct or that's correct. I do a little bit of grid work there. Just have fun. Bring out your inner child. So I've got them sort of peeking out on the other side of this. That's a little thing to remember when you're making any kind of art. If you've got one form that's coming over something else, is to have it sneak out on the other side, as opposed to stopping like a barrier. And allow that to happen. They're just having fun, swimming around between the sea stars with their little smiley faces, because they live where it's warm and it's not foggy and there isn't a mountain of snow in their driveway and they don't have to shovel. So they're smiling. Okay. So then we're going to, you can come back to this part if you're not quite finished that. We're going to go and work on our next tangle, which actually will fill up all in behind all these negative spaces. And it's called Cockles and Mussels by Margaret Bremner from Surrey, BC. And it's one of my favorites. So it's going to start, we're going to start with, I'll start up here in this left-hand corner, and I'm going to start with the line and stop at the sea star, fly over and bring it down, fly over again. So anytime it hits a line, I'm flying over and carrying it on, and I am not making a straight line. I am making a slightly curved line, but if you want to make them straight-ish, you can do so. Then I'll intersect that line, so I'll start down here. Again, fly over the little arm of the sea stars. You have to be a little careful on that. And then another one maybe this way. So now I'm just going to become quite haphazard with my lines as far as direction is concerned. So I'm coming down here. That. So yesterday on the radio, as I was coming back from snowshoeing, there was a really good program on the CBC, and it was about the power of touch and how with this pandemic, we're not touching each other, and how important touch is for our whole nervous system and also for our own our own immune systems. So it's kind of ironic that we're not touching. And it actually could help a little bit. So one of the things that they recommended was self-touch. If you're in a situation where you don't have somebody around that could regularly hug you and hold you and touch your hand, that you can benefit from self-touch, which is what we did with the Feldenkrais when we started. And there was an acupuncturist from California on there, and he talked about doing mini acupuncture massages. So I'm sure if you went on the internet, you would find that. But it was very interesting. And one of the things they talked about was that people that work with therapeutic touch, they're massage therapists, nurses, etc., that they were becoming burnt out because they were not getting touch themselves. They were touching everybody else, but they weren't doing for themselves. Okay, so we've got some shapes in behind here. Sure, here, make sure I'm going to go the right way. I'll get too distracted that I go over my sea star arm. But if I went over my sea star arm, I could make that into something. So suppose I went over with one of these lines like here, then I could maybe make a stripy sea star out of it. So if I did, a line here, I could continue on with those lines and make it turn it into something. Make a sow's purse. Oh, is it? Silk purse from a sow's ear, as my mother often said to me. And if you want to, you can also go along and maybe darken these, oops, go over these sea star arm lines again. Ugh, mouth. Work. Now to bring them out a little bit more, just go over them. And that will bring them forward a little bit. If you want to. So that's an option. But let's go back to what we're doing here. And cockles and mussels. So what you're going to do is go in with your pen and round off the corners of each of these shapes. And for the cockles, you're going to start at the bottom and go up or the other way and do lines in a fan and slightly curved. And if you want to, you can sort of black in these little intersections, color them in if you color. And then for the mussels, you can do a teardrop shape, then a larger one, and a larger one, and a larger one. Again, I went around that corner off. I should have done the rounding first. Oopsie, oh well. Can be done after. And if you come up to one and say, oh, this is I don't really like the shape of this one, well, this open space, well, you can always put a line and change the shape of it. It's a very fluid thing we're doing. Very forgiving. Got some tiny ones here, so I'm just going to leave those blank. We'll do another. So you just put your cockle shapes and your mussel shapes in wherever you see fit. You don't have to adhere to some general rule. This is kind of a funny little shape. It's okay. So that gives you an idea of what you can do in the background. If there's another tangle that you think, oh, this will be better, or better for me, that's a great idea. Or it gives, or maybe my idea gives you an idea of what you'd like to do. Feel free to jump off, jump into the deep end, as it were. I'm just going to go and restate these lines. Restate these lines means just go over again. And you may not want to fill in all of your squares or rectangles or triangles or whatever they are. You may want to leave some blank. That's okay. You don't have to put a pattern in each spot. You can provide areas of blankness for the eye to rest. Open spaces are also good. And maybe you want to put some of the little fish faces in another spot. You know, I have one poking out here. Hello, says a little fish face. Just hiding under the sea star, which is probably not very safe if you're a fish. Ah, dear. Then if you want to add some color, you can do that. But actually before that, let me show you how you could do some shading. So you could do some shading by, let's start here at the little cockles and mussels. So if you go to Margaret's website, The Enthusiastic Artist, she's got all her patterns on there and lots of great information and a really wonderful blog that she writes. And so under, I'm just going to use my pencil on the side and just do a little bit of shading here where it's meeting the tip of the mussel. And here, and I've got my very worn out tortillon, and I'm going to blend it. I actually like it because it's nice and soft. And therefore you've got a little depth. And same here on the cockle. Shape over here. Poke myself in the eye here. There we go. Okay. And check in with yourself. And how do you feel now that we've done this for 40 minutes or so? Are your shoulders a little bit farther away from your ears? And then here I can do a little shading where the fish faces intersect. Give them a little depth. eye comes out here. So he's under the sea star. And then you can do some shading here where the sea star is going over what's underneath. You can do some shading around it. So it gives it that illusion of being on top of the other tangle pattern. Just adding a little bit of graphite can make a huge difference. And if you over graphite, which happens, happens to all of us, we just do, oh, I just got a little too dark. You can take a kneaded eraser like this one, and you can just go in and just kick it back a little bit. Say, oh, too much, too much. Bring it back. That's the shading portion. If you want to add some color, I'm going to take my Faber-Castell Pitt pens and maybe add a little color here. Oh, I can see where I've rated this. Must be upstairs, the other bits, other ones. I've got some nice greens here. And yellow. So let's do a little bit of coloring here. So I'm just going to test out my colors first on another piece of paper. That was a good idea. See what they look like. This is a brush pen and it is called Light Phthalo Green. So I can add a little bit of color to my fish. You could use a colored pencil as well. Oh God, this one is a cobalt green. So that looks like together. So I'm just making it looks pretty good together. So go in and do some coloring here. So you can put your color down and then shade over top as well. That works for markers. What do I have here? I've got some jelly rolls here. Assorted colors, you can use those. These are the really bright ones. So I've got some cool greens here. Just do polka dots there. So you can just play with it and have fun and remember to test your colors out and see how they play well together and what complements another, and then try it on your piece. Just have fun and finish it. And please, if you want to, you can put it on Instagram and tag me, Loretta, LORETTA .west, You can also put it on the Tangle Tuesday, that's 2 words, Facebook page, and you can join that group and see all the lovely artwork there and share it there. You could send it to me to my email address, lorettawest18@gmail.com. And please feel free to share this recording with your friends and to like the video if you like it and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I hope to see you next week on Tangle Tuesday.